All right. What is going on, everybody, on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another video. Running a few minutes late this evening. I apologize for that. We're about 10 minutes behind. Got a little busy this evening. I'm sure most of you, where most of you live at least, the clock sprung forward overnight. And I've been catching up ever since. I didn't actually get out of bed until like 11 a.m., which was late even before springing forward. It was just a weird day overall. Still recovering from my sinus infection, so I apologize in advance if I, cough or anything like that. But with that, we'll check and see, make sure everything is streaming all right. It says we have good connection, so looks like we are good to go. We've already got 5 or 6 of you tuning in, so that is awesome. First and foremost, before we get started, of course, if anyone's new, tuning in for the first time, either during live stream or once this uploads, and you're new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. We go live usually at least once a week on average, sometimes even twice. For these Q&As, this is strictly for you guys specifically. I got the chat box pulled up here, so if you have any business questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask them. It doesn't have to be pest control business related either. It doesn't matter what type of business you're in. I may be able to offer, some kind of, value to you. And if I don't have an answer for you, I'm not going to give you a bunch of BS or anything like that. So, you don't have to be pest control specifically, but if you have any questions whatsoever, just shout it out there in the chat. Before I got a few of you all hopping in here. How's it going, my world? Nice to see you as always. Mr. Kenny, how's it going? Appreciate the content. Appreciate you all tuning in for the content, of course. Without you all, I have no reason to do this, of course. And Luis, how's it going? How's it going? But yeah, I'm assuming the stream is working all right, and we're getting people joining and all that. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and hop right in. As you all start following in, asking questions and stuff like that, I'll start answering those, of course. For those of you that don't know how these Q&As go, like I was just kind of briefly mentioning, we got the chat pulled up here. So if you have any questions, business related whatsoever, don't hesitate to shout it out in the chat. I have my Google Ads pulled up right now, but it doesn't have to be Google Ads related. It can be about anything, business related, investing related. We're all about just financial freedom here at the end of the day. But specifically what I'm going to be talking about today, while I wait for your all's questions to file in, is just giving you all an overall update to our Google ad campaign that we have running at the moment. As you all know, we've been running this ad for a little while now, about 2 weeks or so, which is normally about how long it takes for you and Google to kind of work together to kind of get your ad dialed in and really start seeing some conversions and, getting your money's worth. Your clicks might drop a little bit, which is, believe it or not, usually a good thing because you're actually getting quality clicks. Clicks alone is not a number, of course, that you want to pay attention to. CTR, it's a little more important. I would like for this actually to be slightly higher. But again, we're still dialing this in, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, along with your all's questions and whatnot. So what I'm going to do actually is we will go back as far as I believe we've been running this ad. I don't know if it's been quite the 20th, but we'll just go ahead and apply it for that. And then we'll just kind of break this ad down, essentially show you guys, where this ad had lots of room for improvement and where you can actually see the improvement. So as you can see, we had, relatively good amount of clicks early on. And like I was mentioning just a couple minutes ago, usually once you get your ad kind of dialed in, your clicks will drop. At least from my experience with a successful campaign, your clicks are actually going to go down. CTR should go up. But your clicks will go down because you're going to be starting to get more quality clicks. You're not going to get a bunch of BS random clicks or anything like that. So you can see here early on, our clicks were outperforming our CTR big time, almost double, pretty much spot on double, actually. We had 10 clicks to 4.5, 9 clicks to 4.7, et cetera, et cetera. And then as you can see here, just as of recently, literally this week, our CTR has surpassed our clicks. Barely in some instances as of Thursday, but of course, you start to learn the schedule later in the week. You're not really going to get a lot of clicks in CTR. I'll get to you here in just a second. But yeah, you can see where we really started getting this ad more so dialed in was this week. You can see it was kind of all over the place early on, even a couple days. Well, that's the weekend when we have it shut down. But a couple days where, we're overlapping, we're intersecting, just all over the place, really. Where now we're starting to get this dialed in. Our CTR is starting to jump up a little bit more. On Wednesday specifically, Wednesday was a great day. We had some great quality leads come in. I want to say out of 5 clicks, we had 4 actually either turn in lead forms or give us phone calls. So Wednesday was a great day, the best performing day for this ad so far, and already, paid for that whole $600 easily. But let's get to what y'all are saying here real quick. My state requires experience of 40 plus hours, supervised training. Yep. And was wondering if you know anywhere. No, usually there's no workaround. Texas is the same way. Here in Texas, you have to have 40 hours of on-the-job training as well as 40 hours of in-class, sit-down classroom training. So you actually have it a little bit easier than us, in all honesty. And then even once you become certified, once a year we have to go to continual, it's CEUs, which is like continual education, pretty much just continual education, essentially. It's BS, just for the state to make more money more than anything. But as far as I know, there's really no workaround to it. That's why usually whenever you're looking to start a pest control business, first thing you got to do is simply get hired on at a company. And then usually you have to be there for all in all roughly about a year. If you can fast track it, about a year before. In Texas, it's about a year or 2 before you can, become certified and start your own business. But like you said, every state's kind of different. You all looks like at least require 40 hours of OJT. It looks like. I wonder if you have to do classwork as well, like we do in the state of Texas. Will you be making a video about making an employee handbook? Yeah, no, actually, that's a good idea. I'll probably come out with that here soon for you. I was literally just using ChatGPT about a week ago to do this. I'm not finished with it or anything. I probably want to add a little bit more, especially on the safety side of it, more than anything. But the employee handbook, I pretty much have completely finished, and we got a very good start already on our safety handbook as well. The safety, of course, you have to have all the OSHA stuff in there. And then, depending on what all you do, the extent of that could be a lot more. Like us, we're going to have guys getting on roofs and stuff like that. And that's going to be, of course, our biggest risk. Have to have, the harnesses, the training for the harnesses, all that stuff in place. So, we're going to have training videos, but luckily there's actually a company here in the Dallas area for us that they charge very, very, very cheap. It's an older gentleman who's owned this, little, almost like a 1 or 2 man educational pest control business for 2 or 3 decades, and he's never raised the price on anything. It's like $125 a year. It's crazy, but that's going to help us out a lot as well. How's it going there? Art of Nature, hello from Nigeria, going worldwide. It's crazy to see how many people we're reaching. Can you give any idea on the cost of Google Ads? So what I can do, you being in Nigeria, I think we were actually talking this morning through the comments, and that was a good little conversation there. And similar to what we were talking about there, it is going to vary, of course, state to state, city to city, country to country, that kind of thing. I will tell you, we can just kind of get a look at what we've been paying lately. Let's see. Let's go to average cost per click. So you can see here, and of course, our cost per click is starting to increase now that we're getting this ad dialed in. You can see here we've actually removed a lot of these keywords, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Don't pay attention either, by the way, whenever it says low quality score components. A lot of this stuff is total BS. It's just, like I said, as long as your optimization is above 69 to 70%, your ad's going to be doing just fine. Of course, we're going to always make little tweaks to it and whatnot, but a lot of the stuff Google tells you that you should do, just let it go in one ear and out the other, because they're just trying to get more money out of you. They want you to succeed, but they want you to succeed based on what their algorithm thinks is best, which is obviously never dialed in exactly right. But for example here, exterminator near me, we have this as exact match, which this kind of leads to the first point of this video, which is one of the main things that we did this past week, just more experiment more than anything, is we went away from every type of keyword and we're just using exact match types right now. So what that means is, see these little brackets here? You're pretty much telling Google, hey, I only want my ad to show up when someone uses the word specifically exterminator near me. It has to have that somewhere within it. So you can see, for example, and Google's good about telling you, what you showed up for. So you can see here, boom, we popped up for exterminator, bug service near me. Let's see how many other ones we popped up under. Bug service near me, local pest control company, exterminator near me, best pest control. So you can see all of these are good key words. These are all searches that we would want to show up under, of course. You can see right here we paid $33 for this one click. It was locally owned pest control near me. Don't exactly know if that one's worth it, in all honesty. I haven't, looked to see if there was a conversion on that. I don't believe there was. Plus, we're still working out the kinks with our conversions. I'm working with my website host to be able to make sure we're getting all the conversions tracked the right way, because some of them haven't been showing up. They're showing up as direct instead of from the ad. So my conversions are going to look like 0% for the most part, but they're not. That's going to be updated here hopefully within the next week. But just for example, that was $33 per click on that one. This one was $20 to $21 a click. Pest control service near me. I will pay $20, $21 per click for pest control service near me all day long. But just to give you some perspective on that, say you're going to pay $21 per click, and we know just based off of the rule of thumb, out of every 5 clicks you're going to get, you can assume in the pest control industry probably 1 sell out of that. So say you get 5 clicks on this term, pest control service near me, it's about $110. You get a sell out of it. Hey, as long as you lock that in, say it's a $500, $550 first year contract value, you just 5x your return. Not a bad return. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is you want to make sure to capitalize on these terms that, they're decently cost. Like I said, this one here, it's getting a little bit much. We're probably going to put this as a negative keyword. Not that, the chances of somebody typing in locally owned pest control company near me is relatively low to begin with, but we'll probably go ahead and add that just as a negative, just to be on the safe side. But that's the main thing, is you want to do kind of like a cost analysis essentially, and you want to do the worst case scenario too. So let's work it out on this example. This is the most expensive click we've paid for so far, $33. So let's work the math out again. If we know 1 in 5 clicks is going to result in a sale, again, this is just based off of my numbers, my experience with Google Ads. 1 in 5 clicks is usually going to result in a sale for us at the minimum. So again, 5 times 33, that's what, about $165, $170. It's a little high. It's high for a customer acquisition, but again, say our contract value is going to be $500, $550, which is roughly what our first year is. Sometimes it's a little more. Rarely is it less. Usually our minimum for the first year is $500, but usually $500 to $600 is what our first year average is. So we're still making, about a 3 to 4x return on that first year, not including, of course, I want to be careful here. That's the return off of the ad. Of course, that's not factoring in your chemical, employee hours, or your hours, whatever you think your time's worth, wear and tear on your vehicle, all that. You're still coming out all in all, in that worst case scenario at about a 2x, 2.5x return on the first year. And then after that, all you have is your normal reoccurring cost essentially. But in terms of cost per acquisition, I would say when you're first starting a Google ad, expect it to be very high. expect to make no money on that first lead, in all honesty. Like, if you can break even on your first $500 or so on Google Ads, in all honesty, you're doing pretty good. There's a reason why Google hands out these little spend 500 to get 500 postcards like cupcakes, essentially, because they know for you to see any return, it's probably going to take $500, and that's if you know what you're doing. Like, if you're doing your research, you're watching videos like mine and like other people that run Google Ads and stuff. If you're doing the work, then it's still going to take about $500 for you to kind of get to know what you're doing, and then they're giving you another $500 to really figure it out. After $1,000, you should probably get at least a couple, 2 to 4 customers, and then from there, of course, the goal is to keep working that number down. I would say, best case scenario, you're probably looking on average about $100 per customer acquisition. Maybe in the sorry about that. Maybe like in the slower seasons, if you're spending more money than your competitors, you can work that number down a little bit to like $70 to $70 to $90. But again, I would rather go with the higher number than the lower number. And like I said, that number is probably around 100 on the low to medium end to 200 or 300 on the high end. And it also depends what you're advertising. In this case, we're talking about just general pest control. So low ticket item. If you think Google doesn't play around with cost per click numbers based on, Google knows everything, of course. It's built on algorithms, right? So what are they going to charge us for more? Pest control services near me or termite treatment near me, something that is $1,000 to $3,000 or more, depending on the job, of course. What do you think they're going to charge you more for? Of course they're going to charge more for the search term termite treatment near me or termite control or whatever the case may be. So you got to take that into consideration too. What product are you trying to advertise? Personally, if I have a limited budget, like I know most of you do, just like I did when I first got started, I'm going to start with the basic stuff. I'm going to start with either, $50 off like general pest control, center your ad around general pest control essentially, because that's going to be your lowest cost per click. That's going to have the highest rate of return most of the time. And then once you start, kind of building up a route of just general, it's going to be lower paying, but higher, again, higher in terms of, or not higher, but lower cost to reward essentially. But once you start, building that route and, say you start freeing up a couple $100 more per month, then you can start jumping into bigger ticket items like bed bug treatments, termite treatments, rodent exclusion work, stuff that's going to be more expensive cost per click wise, but of course, bigger cost, bigger reward usually. So general pest control is where I would start. You say you don't have a website, get on that first and foremost. Don't mess with Google Ads until you get a website. Otherwise, you're just going to be throwing money out the window. Google, as much as they want your money, they also only want to push reputable companies. And if you don't have a website, they're just not going to see you as a reputable company. It is what it is. It's going to be hard enough when you're a new business for them to push your ad. You're going to have to build trust. They're going to want to see multiple on-time payments from you. Get reviews as quick as possible. Just start building your brand first and foremost. Cannot stress that enough. Build the brand as much as you can with the free tools before you start messing with Google Ads, because like I said, Google wants your money, of course, but they do not, if they just took anybody's money, we would be seeing a bunch of, spam porn ads left and right. I mean, let's be real. We would see so many ridiculous ads out there, be ridiculous, right? So, you're going to have to get the website first and foremost, and then start building your brand. Ask, a couple friends, family, leave you just a couple reviews. It doesn't take a lot. I'm not saying go out and just, totally mess with the system, try to get 50 fake reviews or anything crazy. Don't pay for reviews or anything like that. But just, get your brand, built enough to where Google's going to trust you. They're going to set your, how much they charge you in terms of frequency very low at first. You're probably going to be around like a $100 to $300. They have like a little toolbar essentially that tells you how much money you've spent. And once you get to a certain amount, they're going to charge your credit or debit card on file. When you're a brand new company, it's going to be very low at the beginning. But I've heard there's companies where it's way bigger than that, of course. So, yeah, definitely get on that. How much does a basic website cost? So I had a company who I use for our CRM, of course, Gorilla Desk. I had them build our website. I want to say the setup was cheap, in all honesty. And you can see, and now keep in mind, I have pretty much overhauled a lot of this website. I'm paying primarily for our instant quote tool. That is an ongoing cost of $250 a month. However, the total setup of everything was, I don't know why it was scrolling like that. Our overall cost to get started, I want to say, was something like $1,200. For us, this is pretty standard, nothing crazy or anything, just a pretty standard website. We've got it's because I'm not here. Let's go full screen real quick. Go like this. So you see we have the standard, drop down of all of our services, areas we service, about us, contact us, our blog. You want to have all this in your header, of course. Then, of course, you want your logo, call for free estimate with your phone number. You want all this stuff up here. Google loves all this stuff. And then down in your footer, you're going to want, a little map of, where your location or multiple locations, if you have multiple locations, where those are. With, again, what are your business hours, your phone number for customers to call at, all that good stuff. But that's, once you get up and going. In terms of costs, like I said, it was about a $1,200 setup fee. And then it's an ongoing cost of $250 a month. So it's really not that bad, all things considering. Now, I know the $250 a month sounds like a lot of money, but trust me, there's a lot of websites out there that are a lot worse than mine. I've seen them. I see them every single day. I'm always looking at competitors and stuff. And these guys pay a lot of money for these websites, usually once a year. You can either do yearly or monthly with a lot of these companies. And the $250 a month, that comes out to what? $3,000 a year essentially. It's pretty spot on with, most reputable companies. But there are some that, of course, can get astronomical. I've heard some companies pay $15,000 to have a website built. I'm like, dude, it's a website. As long as it doesn't take forever to load, because that's, a metric with Google. As long as it doesn't take forever to load, you have all of the security stuff in place where, people put in their information and they're not going to get a bunch of BS, from their emails and stuff being compromised and all that. Just a good functioning website, that's all you need. It doesn't need all these things that they're going to try to sell you on. As long as you have something where they can fill out a lead form, that's all that matters. When it comes to pest control, we're just looking for a basic lead form generating website. We don't need all this BS telling everybody, all these fake reasons why they should go with us over everybody else and just keyword stuffing and all that BS. It doesn't need to be like that. You just need kind of just your basic who you are, why, proof that you're the best in your area, and then, let me fill out my form. And, maybe a couple pictures of, who's going to be coming out to my house. It's pretty simple. Of course, we have all that other BS down here, but put that at the bottom where, no one's even going to look for it anyways. That's just my 2 cents. Starting my first year. Awesome. Service area population just over 500,000. What can I expect? So when you say your service area is 600,000, is that what is the radius from the location of your business? Is that a 10-mile radius, 5-mile radius, 30-mile radius? What's the radius on that 600,000? Because that is going to matter more so than the 600,000 itself. What is the radius of those customers? For example, for me, my radius is 5 to 6 million people. Or not my radius, my, reach is 5 to 6 million people. However, within a 10-mile radius of me, that drops exponentially, of course. It's only about 1 million people. So I ask that because, when it comes to your Google business, let's just pull up this good little website, because this is something you all will want to get immediately too. Bright Local, to track your rankings. Why it is so important, that I'm asking you, where what's your radius on that, is because when you look at this Google Map Pack, for example, keep in mind my business has been registered now for almost 3 years, and look how hard it is to break in. These each dot represents two, I believe two. Is it 2 miles or 2.5? 3 miles. Each dot represents a 3 mile radius essentially. So of course we got home base, and then from there, this is where you track your SEO progress, local SEO, and all that stuff. You can see every 3 miles you go out, you're going to go further and further and further down the rankings. Now, believe it or not, this is tremendous progress. I mean, just within the last year or two, we jumped up the rankings. I mean, you can see, well, that's because we've edited a keyword. But, for example, let's look at termite treatment. Oh, that went down because we have a different thing. Let's see here. There we go. Let's just go back 12 months. This is another cool tool that you all will have to use. So let's look at this one. This is different. So keep in mind with what I'm about to switch to, that this one was 3 miles. So every dot represents 3 miles. So for example, 369, 369, pretty much a 9 mile radius overall. Compared to, let's see, I guess we'll go with this. Compared to this one where it's just a 1 mile radius. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This only goes out 5 miles. So of course, this looks beautiful, right? Because it's super close. It's literally 1/3 of the spacing. So of course it looks beautiful, but again, this is 5 miles out. We were number 8, number 19, number 7. Where now, if we go to today, if we go to today, 3, 6, 6. So just over 5 miles is at 13, 18. It's not all 21 plus now. And this is for the search term pest control. And then as you can see here, we're at the top of the list in terms of our competitors. Our average rank is 10.8. We're really close to a competitor at 10.9. This is a great tool, by the way, and it's super cheap. This tool is $29 a month, I believe. and it shows you, everything you need to know. How many backlinks and stuff you have, what's your domain authority, how many reviews you have, making sure you have your categories in order. Great tool, and there's so many other things on here we could go over. But my point being, back to what Corey was talking about with the whole 600,000 is, for example, if I were to zoom out and look all over Dallas-Fort Worth, okay, yeah, I could reach 5 to 7 million people, hypothetically, but my bullseye is right here, of course, and that is going to be, closer to about maybe 1 million people at the most. This area is expanding rapidly out here, but, in the meantime, it is what it is. It's only about 500,000 to 1 million people. It's been a while since I've looked at the numbers, but I don't know if you're still watching, Corey, but if I could know that, then I could give you, a pretty good answer on that. I need to build a website. Yes, you do. How's it going, by the way? Building a website, before you do anything, you have to build your website, start building your brand, make sure you have, all of your listings in order, your BBB listing, Facebook, the important ones that have the most domain authority, Facebook, Apple, Yelp, Pinterest, all the social media ones, of course, Yellow Pages. Get all of your listings that show your phone number, your address, all that stuff. That way, again, you're building reputability with Google, because if you just hop right into Google Ads and you haven't done any of that, you're just wasting your time. And by the way, that is actually something Bright Local offers. And again, this is another website that like I'm not affiliated with or anything. It's just a tool that I use that's pretty cheap. It works pretty good. It's showing errors for us because we have 2 locations. But you can actually go in here and see all of your citations, key citations, citations that have been added recently, and just go through here one by one. And, the main thing, the best one that I like to use is competitor citations, just to see, okay, who does our competitor have in terms of citations, and why don't we have them? And if we don't have them, just go through this list one by one and start building your citations. And of course, you want to start with the ones with the high domain authority, and the ones that are free. Of course, you'd rather not pay for them if you can. So yeah, definitely do that before you even worry about Google Ads. Get your website built, get all these things knocked out. Then you can start, toying around with Google Ads and really start blowing up your business, essentially. And by the way, when you're watching, not like just my videos, but if you're ever watching videos like this where like, I'm kind of, for example, my video, since you all are watching this video right now, all these things we were going over, if you have, what I would do is I would get you one of these cheap little notebooks. You can get these at like Dollar Tree, CVS, stuff like that, for like $1 to $2. And anytime I'm watching videos, this is a notebook that I got for my power list. If you don't know what a power list is, it's pretty straightforward. Every day you want to put, like before you go to bed, you want to make your to-do list for the next day, especially once you all have a business. You're going to be scatterbrained a lot of the time. You want to have your power list so you make sure you're getting your stuff done that you have to get done day to day. That's what this one's for specifically. But I like having these little cheap notebooks, and when I'm watching either a live stream or any YouTube video that I know is going to be full of just lots of like little step-by-steps or, information that I might forget later, I love carrying these little things around. I'll be watching it on my phone, and I'll literally just jot down, quick little notes and stuff like that. I just thought of that because I was sitting right there because I was updating my list earlier. Let's see here. What about truck insurance? With commercial insurance, it is much more expensive. Ours, I want to say, because we have, 3 or 4 vehicles on ours right now, because we have our personal vehicles on there as well. So we're getting, multi-car discount and whatnot. I want to say our average car, we pay 6 months at a time. I'm trying to, do the math on the fly real quick. I want to say it's coming out to anywhere between $100, and we have full coverage, $500 deductibles, all that stuff as well. So something to keep in mind, if you have a paid for vehicle, you don't necessarily have to carry any deductibles or anything like that. Full coverage, it's all up to you. I would suggest having full coverage, doing what we do, but each to their own. There's a lot of variables in that, but ours, I would say, are probably coming out to somewhere around, let's see, it was 16, so 8. I want to say about 100 to 120 a month, maybe 150 on the ultra high end. It is more expensive than, if we didn't have any commercial insurance at all. But of course, once you throw commercial on there and that you're driving, literally for a living, the price is naturally going to go up, of course. And that's my alarm letting me know to update my power list before I go to bed. So yeah, it's definitely more expensive. We are using a company called Elephant right now. That's another thing I suggest too. Once a year, shop that shit. It doesn't take very long. There's even tools out there for free that will shop it for you. So definitely, once a year, shop it because, even this company I'm using right now, Elephant, we have used them 2 different times already within the last 3 years. We used them for a little bit. They jacked our rate up. We went over to a different company. I don't even remember that company's name. We used them for like 6 months, and they tried to jack our rate up for no reason. Like literally no wrecks, no tickets. Actually, I had a ticket, my one and only ticket ever. It fell off, and our insurance still went up. So I was like, no, that's bullshit. We're going to go back to Elephant because, they're going to give us the introductory rate again. And, shop it consistently. I wouldn't stick with one company unless if they're just, for whatever reason, not toying around with you, I guess. But definitely shop it once a year, in my opinion. That's the best way to save money on that. And it only takes a few minutes. Let's see, I guess I would just think about to this 10 miles. Once you get past 10 miles, like I showed you here with, our Google Map Pack. And of course, this is going to depend on how many competitors you have in the area as well. Like us, for example, we have dozens, if not hundreds of competitors. So once we get outside of 3 to 6 miles, for the most part, especially once we get into highly populated areas, our rankings fall off drastically. Where, of course, further out in the rural areas where there's smaller amount of competitors, we obviously rank a little bit better. So that's definitely something to take in consideration too. You need to do extensive research, one, on how many people are within that 10-mile radius first. Then second, how many competitors are within that 10-mile radius, because that's everything at the end of the day. I mean, like I said, you can literally tell as we start getting closer to Dallas, our rankings literally plummet. Within a 3-mile radius, we go from number 3, bam, number 18, just like that. And then, of course, we got little random ones here. That doesn't even make sense. How do I go from 4 to 11 to 8? I feel like that's a glitch right there, but whatever. Point being, you definitely want to do some research on, that specific area. 20 miles, I don't care where you are, 20 miles is going to be rough. Because even when you go and read Google's, how they do the rankings and stuff like that, they have designed it, the map pack side of things, that is, they have designed it to where, it focuses on companies that are located within a 10-mile radius of where the customer is searching. So once you drop outside that 10 miles, you're not going to rank, essentially. Now, your website could. That's where, of course, SEO and all that stuff. And plus, website SEO could help you in these areas where, you're not ranking so good as well. But, in terms of the map pack, once you get outside of 10 miles, Google's pretty much said, you're not going to rank, essentially. So I would cut that down to 10 miles, then figure out, like I said, how many people are within that 10 miles, how many companies are within that 10 miles. And then from there, you can really start to kind of figure out what your expectations can be. Because I think that was the whole point of your question. What can I expect my first year? Yeah. So I'm going to assume that the 600,000 is based on, we'll just say 15 miles. So let's just cut a third of that out. Let's just say you have about 400,000 to 500,000. We'll say 400. We'll underestimate it. 400,000 people. So let's say there's 20 companies in your area, which there's probably a little bit more, but we'll just say 20 in your area. That would be about 20,000 people to every pest control company, hypothetically. So then what other numbers do we know? Okay, well, we know about 83% of the population will never use a pest control company. Just is what it is. That's the real numbers. I think it's 83%. So if we know, okay, wow, $20,000 people to every pest control company, multiply that by, 15 to 20%, what does that come out to? Let's work the math out on that. I don't want to guess. I'm pretty good at math, but I'm not doing that at 9 o'clock at night. What that'd be 3,400 customers. This is just rough math too. This isn't me saying, oh, you only have the possibility of getting 3,400 customers ever. That's not what I'm saying at all. This is just kind of working out, some basic math. When we're talking about expectations, let's divide that into a 10-year period. 340. Could you get 340 customers a year? You'd be better based on those numbers. Do that times, an average contract value of $500. That'd be that's about what I did. You'd be right around $168,000. About right on what we did last year, actually. About $168,000 to $170,000. Just based on, rough numbers, essentially. Like I said, that's nothing. I wouldn't get your hopes up on that or anything, because you still have to get in front of those people. You can't just open your business and think they're going to come to you, of course. Like you were talking about, how can I make myself attractive compared to my competitors? First thing you don't want to do is price cut. Do not, whatever you do, underprice your services. You do not want to be seen as the cheap guy. You just don't. Trust me. I thought it was a good idea for about 3 days. Learned after 3 days, I'm getting the customers I would never want to work with, essentially. So don't do that, first and foremost. But from there, again, going back to what we were talking about, build your brand. Focus on being everywhere. Focus on adding value. Be in, the Nextdoor. Isn't that what the app is called? Nextdoor. Be on Nextdoor. Searching. Literally, I do this from time to time, even today when I have like nothing to do or I can't sleep or something. I will hop on the Nextdoor app. I'll hop on Facebook and Facebook groups, local groups and stuff, and I will search in the search bar pest control, rodent, just stuff like that, stuff that mentions pest, rodent, termite, stuff like that, where people are usually just asking questions. Sometimes there will be people asking, does anyone know of a company? And then you can present yourself as that company, of course. But a lot of times people will just be asking random questions like, hey, what kind of bug is this? Hey, what is this? What, like, add value for free to people. And then at the end of adding that value, give yourself a little plug. Say, by the way, if you have any more questions or anything, this is my business cell phone number directly. I'm the owner of such and such company. If you have any questions or need anything whatsoever at any point, don't hesitate to let me know. Usually, no one's going to even text you and ask you a question. I have had probably 2 or 3 people do that out of the probably 100 to 300 people that I've answered questions to on social media. But just adding value with no expectation, it goes such a long way. It sounds corny, in my opinion. It sounds almost kind of corny, like, why would I do that? But it definitely goes a long way when people can tell that, hey, this dude, like, he knows what the hell he's talking about, and he's not even like trying to sell me on anything. Like, it goes a long way. People will remember that. And then, not to mention, people are gonna, not just that person that you are addressing is gonna see that, but potentially hundreds, if not thousands, of people on Nextdoor, in that Facebook group, that are seeing you answer that question are also going to see that. And, you're bound. I've had so many people find us on Facebook and Nextdoor that, I thought they found us on Google. And then I asked them, how'd you find us? And, hey, how'd you find us? Oh, I saw on Nextdoor, my neighbor was dealing with a squirrel issue, and, you were kind of walking them through, if they need to do it themselves, how to do it. And you seem to really know what you were talking about. So can you come look at my house? Boom, $1,200 sale. Like, it's just simple as that sometimes. And then labeling your truck. I saw My World say that too. Yeah, we just finally got our second truck labeled 2 days ago. I'll have to upload a picture of that for you guys at some point. Yeah, that's the best advertising too, by the way. Label your vehicles. Label them. Even my wife's minivan. I'm getting a little printout of a little decal and slapping it on the back window. You can't have enough cheap free advertising at the end of the day. I've had, I want to say 5 or 6 people now, call me like in the Home Depot parking lot, stuff like that. Say, hey, I saw your truck. How much does it cost for, this? And, just go from there. And getting your truck labeled, you don't have to go fancy. The fancier you go, the more it's going to cost, of course. Our truck labeling, to have a professional company do it in our area, was only about $350 per truck. So you get one sell off of that, it pays for itself immediately. So yeah, I definitely agree with My World there. You're going on your second year. Congratulations. You made it through that toughest year, the first year. Got yard signs. Good idea. I've been meaning to do that. I'm putting that on my power list tonight. Get some yard signs and some door hangers. I've been meaning to do that, and you just reminded me, so I appreciate it. And it's another great tool as well. And definitely, thought I heard something in my attic. Definitely put them in your customers' yards too, of course, which I'm sure you already knew that. Planning on hiring my first tech in the summer. Me too. Still debating if I should pay my tech commissioner hourly. So that is a very good question. So what I am planning on doing, because I know I'm hiring, quote unquote, too soon, I'm going to hire hourly because, like, I'm going to tell them this is part time early on. It's going to grow into a full time role, yada, yada, yada. And once we get to a full time role, then we'll address the idea of maybe paying by production. It depends too, because if the employee is satisfied doing hourly, I'm not gonna complain about paying an employee per hour, because in my opinion, one employee is more than likely going to perform better in terms of the quality of service. The employee who gets paid to just get the stop done and that's it, or the employee who gets paid for the longer he works, the more he makes, right? Now, even if I want to be careful here, because a lot of people are going to think, oh, he's just going to do hourly. Well, it's not just going to be hourly. Like, I'm going to have hourly plus commission where, hey, if you upsell a customer, or say, because our trucks are labeled, a customer's neighbor is walking and they ask about our service, if you sell them on something, put it in the system. That's the good thing about Gorilla Desk, is the tech can literally put a lead or a sale or whatever, like can literally create a new customer account right then and there. And once I see that, then they'll get credit for that, essentially. And I'm still working out details on that specifically, but I'm figuring more than likely hourly, and then, like I said, hourly plus commission, just because I used to get paid production at the big company I worked at. And while I did like it, because, I was getting off ridiculously early most days, I know that I was doing a good service still, but I probably could do a little bit better in terms of like communication and stuff like that, where I was just flying through the services trying to get home. And that, again, I see it all over. It's not just like how I was, it's how a lot of the employees were that worked at that company and still are today, because I keep up with a lot of them. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it, but, nothing, of course, is ever just completely set in stone. But that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Yep, most definitely. Thanks for your time. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. And trust me, I know. Yeah, try getting fired right before slow season in November, or I guess it was October, right before Halloween. So pretty much November. Try getting fired the week of your exams, where you're gonna get certified, and then starting your business the first week of November. Luckily, like I said, I did have a little bit of money. I had some equity in a car and stuff like that, but it was very stressful, to say the least. Head was spinning, quite literally. Working a full-time job right now. Oh, man. So you're working a full-time job and doing the pet, man. Couldn't be me. I give you props, though. I'm guessing you're working like an evening or nighttime job, probably, or something. I hear people do that. I hear people, my own grandfather actually started his business in the Midwest like 40 years ago, something like that, 40, 45, something like that. And he was telling me, I thought I was going to make a lot of money, and I didn't at the beginning, and I had to go work overnights for like a year or two. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, though. Like I said, my grandfather had to do the same thing. And I thought even I was going to. I did do some DoorDash. It wasn't as easy or anything as it might seem for me. Like, it was not easy. Like, I did DoorDash, maybe a few hours a week, something like. There were some weeks where I would do DoorDash for 10 to 20 hours just to kind of, make sure that we're making ends meet and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely did help, that I had about, all in all, about 12 to 13,000 to kind of give us a little bit to chew on for a little bit. And then my wife having a full-time job at the time, too, definitely helped. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have the flexibility. And see, that's the one beauty. Like, I feel like sometimes people in our generation, when I say our generation, I don't mean like Gen Z or millennial or anything like that. I'm saying like people that are alive right now, people that are from age like 18 to 19 to 50, 60 years old, people in their working career essentially. I think sometimes we take for granted like how flexible a lot of careers are anymore. Like the fact that you can have a full-time job and start a pest control business on the side. Like, I mean, outside of working, I haven't seen Ricky for a while. Outside of working, overnight, like I said, my grandpa did, there really didn't used to be many options in terms of, having, some kind of, flexibility like doing DoorDash or Uber or, like he said, Rent-A-Center, stuff like that, like the flexibility. There's never been more flexibility in the job market than right now, than over the last 2 to 6 years specifically. And I hesitate to say it, but I feel like that is what makes it easier to succeed as an entrepreneur, as a, pest control business owner now than ever before. The fact that, we can go and, make it work essentially. We know as long as you are good with your budget, your personal budget, making sure you're getting your bills paid and all that stuff and that you're eating, it might take some time. You're going to, go from sleeping on the floor and whatnot to, making it out here. But I feel like, it's never been a better time. And I feel like that window might be closing temporarily. I hope not, with the, financial market starting to collapse, it seems, and whatnot. But at least as of the last few years, it's never been easier to, just take that leap of faith, essentially, because hey, I can do this on the side. I can do this on the side. I can do that. Like there's options, essentially, versus sink or swim. Just kind of what I think. But it is stressful, for sure. It's still stressful. That never changes, right? It's all stressful out here. That's why we get paid the big bucks in the long run. I'm already on the radar at work. Ooh. I know how that... See, my problem is I did have a big mouth. I still do have a big mouth from time to time. And I made it very clear what my plan was. I told them straight up one day, I don't give a fuck. I have a plan here. I'm going to get licensed and start my own shit. Like, I don't care. And that did not age too well, obviously. They never fired me because I was damn good at my job. But once management kind of changed and they heard that and they knew I was getting certified at the end of the week, they were quick to go ahead. And it was COVID, so they were, of course, looking to, cut expenses. They were quick to let me go at that point. But just lay low. That's all I would say. Just lay low. And if nothing else, I don't know if any of you all. I'm sure there's a few of you in here that are people of faith and whatnot. If nothing else, just believe that everything happens for a reason. And that's what I told my wife when I got fired. I actually failed the test in Texas the first time I took it to become certified because it was way harder than I expected, way harder than the technician exam. And, second time I went in there and took it, obviously I had a lot more pressure because it was like, dude, you got to pass this. Like, there's no going to another pest control job. Either you pass this or your life's going to suck, essentially, was how I was going into it. And got a straight A on it, and the rest is history. So, everything happens for a reason, too. Don't let yourself stress out too much about that. Not sure. I wouldn't say there's a law that would allow. I'm assuming you're talking about them like firing you. If you are in a at-will hiring, like state like Texas, for example, you can get fired. That you could literally show up to work tomorrow in Texas and they can fire you for any reason, essentially. Which I'm all for. Like, I get that there are shitty parts to it, but at the end of the day, like, I grew up, in a family, with a mindset of, if you don't do this, or if you are a pain in the ass employee, or, this, that, and the other, like, they should have the right to fire you for whatever reason. It's a double-edged sword for sure, but definitely, see whatever state you're in, check the laws out for sure. But like I said, in Texas, I know it's at will. It's pretty hard to, sue for getting fired for any reason. You might be able to collect unemployment, but even unemployment is going to be difficult to get in states like Texas. Thoughts on customer contracts? Somebody finally asked the C word. Yeah. So, how I get around the word contract with customers is I use the word service agreement. So I tell them this is not a contract. It's like what I tell. This is literally what I tell them whenever I go out there, because first and foremost, I sell the service. I sell the service, sell the appointment, do the work, at least get paid, if nothing else, right? Then, I tell them, okay, this is just your service agreement. It's not a contract like we discussed on the phone. We don't tie you down to 1-year contracts, 2-year contracts, anything like that. This is just a document that says you agree for us to come out every quarter to treat your home. It says that you agree for us to put pesticides, insecticides, whatever word you want to use. You're allowing us to put chemical down around the property of your home, treating for these pests. You'll see in the fine print, our service agreement is only 1 page, 1.5 pages, straightforward. You'll see there that you're not tied down at all. All it says is if you're going to cancel services with us, you need to let us know within a 30-day period. Otherwise, if you're on the auto monthly billing, you're going to get charged 1 more month, and then you'll get canceled out after that. Or if you are on yearly billing because you pay us year over year, you need to let us know within 30 days of your yearly renewal. Otherwise, you'll be charged for that next year, and you can if you wanted to go ahead and cancel, we can cancel it out the following year. And that, like I said, that's strictly for if they pay year over year, which is only about 33%, 1 in 3 of our customers, essentially. Maybe even less, probably like 1 in 4, 1 in 5. But that is what, let's see, I think you just asked what I was about to say, actually. Where can I go about getting the terms and conditions of the agreement? Yeah, so it's on Gorilla Desk, and I'll show you guys an example here in a minute. No problem, Eric. I'm at will employee. So, yeah, my world, yeah, with that, it just kind of is what it is. Just, be ready, and, if that's the will of the Lord, then, just make it happen. You'll make it happen regardless of how it goes. But these contracts, I kind of wanted to show you guys an example without like giving away a bunch of customer info. Let's try this. There we go. This is just like my dummy account, essentially. It's got just like my business info, business cell phone, and all that, versus using a customer's account. So let's see. Go into the documents, and then what we would do is we'd add a document. I did not right click. And then you can see here there's a bunch of different documents you can pick from. You can add more documents to this list. These are just the ones that I need specifically for the state of Texas. As well as, some random ones like a road-in agreement, which I don't even really use in all honesty. But let's say the pest control one, for example. So we'll save that. Go in here. So we'll just give kind of a preview, essentially. So this is what it would look like, essentially. And again, this is the Texas one specifically, where we have to have our TPCL and, all of our contact information and all that stuff. And then, you have all your customers' information, what pests they're covered from, do they have children? Another thing where, if you're trying to, make it sound better, avoiding that yucky word contract, you can say, again, this is just you agreeing that since you have children, since you have pets, you're allowing us to put down pesticides around your home, all that stuff. And then, of course, this is where the nitty-gritty comes in terms of frequency. You put monthly, quarterly, on request, extras. Do you treat the inside every single time, or do you only do it once a year? Do you do it on request? Exterior, all that good stuff. And then from there, of course, you plug in how much the initial was, the sales tax on that. What's the regular service charge? Is it monthly? Is it yearly? All that kind of stuff. What's their total annual amount? All that. And then the terms and conditions. So, of course, you have the future damage, the purchaser's responsibility, the notice of claims and access to property, non-payment, disclaimers, the entire agreement, pesticide labels, the guarantee, client requests and amendments where you can add, if the customer for whatever reason was a pain in the ass more than anything. We've never done this, just to be clear, because we turn these customers away. But if they're a pain in the ass and they have any special, amendments or requests, then, you could go ahead and put that on there. I was trying to see where it shows exactly our 30-day purchaser responsibility. I was trying to find where it shows on here our 30-day cancellation. Let's see. Is this the... Okay, this is the pest control. Here we go. On request, customers are afforded a 30-day retreatment guarantee from the date last paid service. That's the warranty. Where is my 30-day? There's supposed to be something in here about canceling within 30 days. And I don't even stick to the 30 days specifically. I mean, like I always tell my customers, we charge on the first of the month. So obviously if you want to cancel, let us know before the end of the month. That way we can get your auto pay canceled out. Otherwise, obviously you're going to get charged that one last time. For some reason I'm not finding our cancellation policy in there. Entire agreement terms, change in law. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like skimming it super quickly because I don't want to be just like silent on here or anything like that. Of course, you have your stuff in here about, if they don't pay or default. And again, that's another thing where if you're charging them month to month, you usually don't run into any issues with that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, overall, this is a pretty straightforward service agreement. We also have one, as you guys seen, for like bed bug, termite. For termite, there's a couple different ones. You have the service agreement, the estimate disclosure, subterranean disclosure estimate, a whole bunch of stuff in there. There's a whole bunch of different things in here, and I actually need to upload a couple of them from my insurance company because they have like their own specific contracts as well. And like I said, you can pay a real small fee, and Gorilla Desk will put those in there for you. But these are kind of the main contracts that come with Gorilla Desk. You can add more to this. These are just the Texas-specific ones that I added to our account. There's no reason for me to, of course, have, Alabama service agreements, Florida, stuff like that. They have them for every single state that they make sure is within the jurisdictions of the state. Texas, for example, has a thing in here where, on the service agreement, it's supposed to say, I believe at the bottom. There it is. Texas, licensed and regulated by Texas Department of Agriculture with the Department of Agriculture's information. That has to be on the documents for the state of Texas specifically. So they make sure that your documents are, fully legal and all of that good stuff as well. So great thing that they have on there for Gorilla Desk as well. So hopefully that answers your question about where can I go about getting the terms and conditions of the agreement. If you were asking about Gorilla Desk, you might have been asking about something else, but hopefully that answers that. And hopefully our stream is still doing good. Wow, we got 6 or 7 of you all tuning in so far. If you're enjoying the stream so far, definitely make sure to hit that thumbs up button. I see we've only got 1 like in here so far. Hopefully you guys, like I said, are enjoying the stream. If you are, hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. It helps the video, helps the stream, helps more and more people like you, like me, connect on this channel and see this video and, once it uploads and all that good stuff. So if you like it, definitely hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new and haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button while you're liking the stream. Hit the bell icon, that way you'll be notified. We go live pretty much once a week, relatively religiously now. And we have lots of other, short content and other content to help you all start and grow your pest control company. Now, I don't think, okay, that was the last question. Like I said, if you all have any questions, shoot them out there in the chat. Haven't had any come in a couple minutes, so we'll go back over here to the Google Ads. side of things, like where did we leave off? Oh yeah, we're talking about how now we have finally kind of had this divergence. Now you can see our clicks were outpacing our CTR. That tends to be how I personally know whether an ad is functioning well or not so well. When our clicks are outperforming CTR, that means we're not doing too well. And you can see here, finally starting this week, we finally started having the CTR outperform the clicks. Thursday, by the way, we didn't get like any clicks or any activity because we had so much ad spend on Wednesday. Like I said, Wednesday was a beautiful day. Spent a lot of money though on Wednesday. And when it comes to Google Ads budgeting, it says $50 per day, but you may spend $120 in a day, but then they just won't worry about pushing your ad, for maybe 1 or 2 days after that, or they'll push it very lightly, make it where your CPC is relatively low, which means shit clicks, that kind of thing. So we did spend quite a bit of money that day, but like I said, we had a very good day out of that too. And we were going over kind of just our keywords and how we analyze this. When is the podcast coming? Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that a lot because there are so many podcasts that I like and listen to as well. I was just wondering how I would exactly translate this, since a lot of it is kind of visual, showing you guys how to do stuff. I guess I could do like a whole nother thing where, it's more of like the Q&A specifically goes on the podcast, where I'll just take a bunch of questions from you all, and instead of doing this like live stream, we'll just do like podcast of them maybe. It's hard to say, but yeah, I'm definitely, I had a podcast in the past, actually a couple of them way back, like 6-7 years ago, before everybody was doing them. And yeah, so I mean, I know how to do them. I could get one up literally within 24 hours if I really like hunker down and made the little artwork for it and all that block with how exactly I would format the show, and would it take away from YouTube, or like what would stay on YouTube versus what would go on the podcast, or what I do what some shows do, which is they post on YouTube but then they take the audio and then they post it in audio format as well so people can see it, listen, whatever they prefer. So like I said, got a lot. You can tell I've been thinking about it a lot for sure, just with all the thoughts that I just kind of rambled out. But it is coming. It's just, it is. I want to make sure it's a good, product for you all, not just kind of throwing a bunch of random BS out there to you all or anything like that. So stay tuned. It is definitely coming, and I'll definitely let you guys know in our Facebook group chat, or Facebook group, as well as our Discord group chat. Which, by the way, links for that are in the description box if you're not already in there. Totally free to join, of course. I'll let you guys know as soon as a podcast does go live. Let's see. Does advert on a vehicle work? Advert. That's a chemical, right? I've never used it. Let's see. Oh. Is that a chemical? No. What is that? What is advert anyways? I've heard of it. Oh, it's just short for advertising. Wow. Can tell it's getting late. No, like I was talking about earlier, you might have hopped out for a little bit, Art of Nature. I mean, like I said, it costs us about $350 to have our vehicle labeled. I've had probably at least half a dozen, if not more, right around 5 or 6 that I'm aware of, call us directly from the phone number on our truck. And by the way, we now have, starting this week, we're going to have QR codes actually on the back of our truck on the tailgate, where people, behind us at a stoplight can scan that QR code. It'll take them right to, boom, guess where? Get an instant quote. So I expect that to help out a lot too. It's very cheap. It's so cheap. You cannot not do it, right? It's one of them things, like I said, it's $300 to $500, sometimes more if you're trying to be fancy with it and do a whole wrap. As long keep it simple. At the end of the day, some of these wraps are just overkill in my opinion. But yeah, I just for the little amount of cost it is, like I said, one customer is all it takes. One customer, boom, it pays for the whole labeling of the vehicle. So definitely worth the money in my opinion. Average raffle. Okay, that must have been what it was. Yeah. I knew I'd heard of something similar to that, but yeah, it's getting late, so. And I'm still sick on top of that. But yeah, no, yeah, I can't. That's one of the very first things I would do when it comes to, we were talking about, brand awareness. Like, what's better brand awareness than driving around a giant billboard at the end of the day? That's essentially what you're doing whenever you label your vehicle. You're driving around a free billboard for your company. And, if you get the labeling done by somebody professional, you'll be able to run the truck, car, whatever you're driving through the car wash just fine. I've had one of our trucks labeled now for almost 3 years. I've had a single issue with the labeling, and I run it through one of those automatic washes with the monthly payment plan or whatever. I run it through there, at least 1 to 5 times a week, sometimes more, depending on how much rain we get on average. So, I mean, yeah, it's just so worth it. Like, I almost feel like that's a good video idea, actually. It's just coming out with a step-by-step video on, like, kind of what I did when it came to, like, brand awareness for our company. Just giving you guys kind of like a blueprint, essentially, to what we did at the very beginning. What we did is we started getting a little bit of money coming in, and what we're doing now, where, we're kind of, I don't want to say we're in, like, full-on growth stage, but we're getting to the point. I mean, the fact that I did not know if or when we would ever be able to spend $500 that's next step, $50 a day on an ad. I did not know how long it would take to get to that point. I remember just a very short time ago, I was struggling to make sense of spending $10 or $20 a day on advertising. Now we're spending $50 a day on Google. We're spending, in some cases, $20 to $50 a day on Facebook, trying to spread the wealth, and again, just branding at the end of the day. And yeah, there's phases to it for sure. And labeling your truck, it's one of the most cost-effective ones that, are now. I want to be careful here. I don't want you to expect by labeling your truck, you're going to be just have people calling you left and right saying that, hey, I seen your truck, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's going to happen occasionally. I would say you can expect it once every few months or so. But again, like I said, all it takes is one customer. You just have to get one customer, and it pays for that whole truck labeling. And that's just like 1 year. You get them on the hook for $500, boom, you paid for the whole labeling. And then anything after that, pure profit, outside of chemical and stuff, of course. So that's definitely the first step. And then, of course, building the website and all that good stuff that we will, get into. Because, like I said, that's a good video idea. You all have given me a couple good video ideas to come out with for you all. But before we end the stream, like I said, part of this stream was I was going to just kind of give you all an overall update. One of the updates being we marked out a bunch of broad match key phrases. We switched them out in a drastic change to exact match. Exact match, to go back over that, is where you put in these, oh my gosh, I'm having a total brain fart. You type it like this, let's put it that way. You put it in there like that, and that's an exact match where when you have it just completely wide open, you can see here, Trigger Control Dallas, that literally triggered the search term, Pest Control Dallas. It got us 2 clicks at a rate of $14, which one of them I need to follow up with because she was wanting mosquito and pest control, and I was pitching her on mosquito, pest, and termite, kind of like our full package. If she goes with that, knock it out of the park. I'll let you guys know about that in our Discord group chat if we end up selling her or not. Very nice woman and whatnot, but that'd be awesome at $14 a click. And look at what they're saying, low quality score. Get the fuck out of here. Pest control, we got 1 click off of that. Again, only showed up for about 4 search terms versus this one, pest control prevention, showed up for over 31, such as do my own pest control. Why the fuck would I want to show up for do my own pest control? Like, see, that is why, like I say, you don't necessarily want to take everything Google says seriously. because they will sabotage your ad campaign. Your cost per click is going to go up, but cost per click going up usually means you're getting more valuable clicks. All these down here, they didn't do a fucking thing. I mean, let's look at conversions. Where's our conversions at? All conversions. So if we go to here, so these are some of our cheaper ones. You can see the cost here. Okay, yeah, cheap. But look how quick that adds up. $12, nothing. $10, nothing. $9, nothing. $9, nothing. $9, nothing. So the smaller the cost per click, the less result is what I noticed. And a lot of these keywords with the exact match, we literally just put in since like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I don't expect there to be like any activity right now. But I can already tell after just a couple days, of course, that like Exterminator Near Me is one that's paying off for us. CTR, there we go. 14% CTR. That's just crazy. And again, the conversions are kind of throwing out a whack. So I don't want to say that those like super cheap CPCs are totally trash, because there may be one or two conversions here or there that haven't tracked yet, because we're still working that out with our website host. Gorilladesk are helping us out with making sure all of our conversions are showing up. But I can already tell right from the get-go that using the exact match, while much more expensive, usually about 2 to 4x more expensive, much more higher quality of clicks. Pest Control Plano, 10% CTR, 7.5, 28.5, 1.75. That's not good. But again, we just put most of these in like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So this next week, I'm really excited to see how things kind of pick up this next week or two. And again, I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. And lastly, too, one thing that, we need to go in here. I need to do this, actually. It's been a few days. I need to go in here and add in some negative keywords. For example, I don't want to pop up under this rapid rodent removal. I can't believe 3 people have actually not only seen it, but clicked on it. That's 100% CTR, but again, this isn't a rodent control ad. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go in here and add it as a negative keyword. I'm going to put it, because it has the word rodent, we're going to put broad match, because we don't want to show up anything related to rodent removal for this ad. We don't want to show up for Barrett Pest Control. How am I going to have 2 clicks on 1 impression? Make it make sense. We're going to leave that as, we'll do exact match on that, because we want it to be very close to Barrett. And this is the nitty gritty. This is where you guys, in my opinion, are going to learn quite a bit from these live streams. This is where I'm actually showing you guys what we go in here and do on our Google Ads. Home Team Pest Defense. That's 2 more clicks. We don't want to be. Okay, so that's already been added as a negative keyword. Yeah, the main thing is just going through here and making sure, there's a lot of things in here. Like, what the hell? How do I get rid of bugs in plant soil? Are we serious right now? Don't want to show up with anything to do with that. Stuff like that. You got to go in there at least 2 to, depending on how much your ad is running. If you're running your ad 4 days a week, which is what I suggest for the pest control industry, unless if you're actually open 7 days a week, of course, then feel free to run it 7 days a week. But I'm only in the field Monday through Friday with an occasional Saturday if I'm running behind. So with that, I run our ads Monday through Thursday, because the latest I'm going to be picking up a new start is going to be on Friday. So I don't want to get leads on Friday knowing, hey, the earliest I'm going to be able to get out there is probably Monday or Tuesday. Because at least in my area, when people call us, they're wanting us out, within 24 hours. Most of the time, you might be able to get away with like a couple days, but usually if you, give them like a 4 to 5 day wait, they're moving on. So with that, think about your ad scheduling. More is not always better when it comes to that. Gnat repellent, that's already been excluded. Good thing is you can see here a lot of these have already been excluded, and they do not have very many impressions either. So like I said, we're starting to really get this ad dialed in. Every couple days I'm going to need to check in, make sure that, we're not popping up under stuff that I want us showing up under. That's already been excluded as well. So yeah, no, I'll definitely keep you guys updated about how this ad keeps performing. I'm excited about it. It's already getting us a lot of leads. If we go into our Gorilla Desk here and go into our leads tab, which has finally been fixed, you can see March we're already, and this, when I say leads on Gorilla Desk, it's, when you see 6 there, that is just leads that haven't been closed. So like tomorrow, for example, when I pull it up, I will go through those leads and follow up with every single one of those people, because those are people that I have not closed yet. So that means what? I need to go in, hey, buy my shit. We're the best. What's going on? How can I, make this decision easier for you? What's figure out what the conflict is. Why have they not signed up with you yet? That's what I love about that leads tab. You can go through there. They had a little issue with it at the beginning. You'd put in leads, and for some reason they were showing up as active customers instead of leads. Now it's working perfectly in March, and it's another great tool that Gorilla Desk has added on the new version 3 that I definitely plan to keep utilizing. So hopefully you guys, like I said, have enjoyed the stream. If you did, definitely make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Helps the video and the channel out so much. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon and make sure all notifications on that are turned on. That way you'll be notified every time we go live, upload a video, upload some shorts. I'm trying to do some more shorts for you all here and there. Just some little like short videos and stuff, along with our TikTok. Like I'm pretty much taking our TikTok videos and putting them into YouTube Shorts. And if you're not following on TikTok, I am on TikTok over there as well. But like I said, most of that content goes on YouTube as well. So don't necessarily have to. But like I said, hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. I see we had like 6 to 8 of you at a time, it seems, in here. Hopefully you guys did take some information from this. Hopefully it'll help you grow and start your pest control business. I do plan on, for those of you that I know some of you are here for like our stock market content. I do plan on coming out with either a live stream or a quick little video about kind of just my thoughts on the markets right now after the whole what was it, there was a bank that collapsed on Friday. Silicon Valley Bank, I think was the name, is the 10th largest bank in the U.S. collapsed, just like Lehman's did back in, 2007, I believe, 07, 08. A lot of crazy stuff going on right now when it comes to that, so I definitely have some commentary on that as well. So I will be posting a little update about that hopefully sometime this week for you all, just kind of what I'm doing with our money. Obviously most of it's going into this business right now, but any extra money we do have, what I'm doing with it, and just kind of my 2 cents on that. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream. Like I said, hit that thumbs up button. Thumbs up helps us big time. Otherwise, if you haven't already joined our totally free Discord group chat or our Facebook group, link for that is in the description box below. And of course, if you have any questions after we end the stream and the video uploads, you can always, comment on the video once it uploads. Let me know your question. I always keep note of your all's questions. That way, whenever we do a Q&A, I have, some content. Like today, I was doing our Google ad update and whatnot. I like to always, have some questions going into these. But have a good rest of your weekend, guys. Get some good rest. Get some good sales this week. Hopefully you guys are getting towards that financial freedom. That's what we're all striving for at the end of the day. And keep your eye on the prize. I'll see you guys in the next stream or video. Take it easy, guys.